Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers and the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group. This is video 2 in our series Vintage Victorian Beauties. Say that 3 times fast. And this is my LineDotArrow design team project for March of 2023. Now, this is the page we finished in video 1, along with going over how we were going to make it and all that. And I went ahead and finished up the page. I used triple thick on the flowers. I added the card, and on the card the butterfly has triple thick on it. And then when you open this up, did I say I added the lace? And I added the lace up the edge. Then when you open it, I put triple thick on this rose. I added a triple thick butterfly, covered butterfly. And then when you take the card out, there is triple thick on this butterfly. Oh yeah, you can see it there. So then I realized we had labeled this page 1. Oh, and I put some washi on here to cover where the paper was a little crooked. I don't know if I should mention this or not. You may notice it. The covers, or the flap is a little crooked on here. If I would have realized, I would have put lace on here. And I may go back and do that anyway, but then we would need to put lace on the bottom of here. Maybe not. Anyway, I'm thinking about it, trying to decide what to do. We had labeled this page 1, which would have been easy enough to fix, except for one is the cover. Usually I label cover, and then this page would have been 1. So technically this would have been page 2, which would have been fine. I could just renumber it. We're going to go ahead and glue them down as we go anyway. But then you'll notice the lace. And so the lace is not going to allow that to close. Now, our other option is to make this page 3 and work on page 2 and then have a cover. But I decided to make a different kind of cover than what I normally make, and go ahead and use this as the cover. So let's go ahead and put the ribbon on. Now I realize that as we go through and put our lace on, that the ribbon is going to catch on the lace, but all we need to do is tie it looser so that the bow isn't like tight right up against the book, and then it won't fold the lace. So let's set that to the side, and let's go ahead and put our lace on, our ribbon on. And it doesn't need to be super long, but I always make them longer than they need to be, because once you tie the bow, then you do need a good bit of length for that. Plus, I kind of like it with the longer thing and the bigger ribbon. So let's cut this piece here. Then let's take it and let's make another piece the same length. And if we want the little sideways cuts to go the same way, then we just turn it that way when we cut it. It's been a couple days since I worked on this, so if I'm a little fumbly, then you'll know why. Okay. On this, if you cut a slice on all 4 sides, you always have somewhere to hook your ribbon through, so you don't have to worry about taping it down. You just, sure you do. You just put it through the little slice, and then you've got somewhere to hold it. Oh, there, that's the problem. Okay? Just a little tip. So now, let's go ahead and put this on. Do the flat side. I don't even know where anything is anymore. Oh, I also made I put triple thick on all the ephemera butterflies. Then I printed out a second page and put the triple thick on first on the butterflies, and this image, oops, this image here, I think I did the whole image on the other one. So I may go back and do this whole image as well. And then I was able to run it through my scan and cut it out. It was a little hairy there for a minute because it was a big piece. There was a little bit of warping, not like using glossy accents, that you have to be really careful about it warping the paper. But it was a little bit tricky to get it to run through. So it wasn't that hard to hold the butterflies and put the triple thick on. I just held my finger here, and you just brush it on. You just paint it on like you're using Mod Podge or glossy accents. So anyway, so now I have double the butterflies. So let's see if we can use them up. And in fact, we could put a butterfly on here as well. Maybe one of these blue ones to really spice it up. Cover where the image of those stems are. Like so. We have to ink it. My scan and cut needs to be calibrated. And I looked it up online and I tried to do it and I couldn't get it to work. So let's do that. Okay. So we're just going to put some glue on. And the lace will help cover where the ribbon sticks out too. And that does look to be halfway, maybe a little bit low. I'm putting glue on, and then I'm putting a little piece of tape on to make sure it stays in place, but you don't want the piece of tape to stick out too far or to be across it too far out, because you don't want it to show along that little 1/8 of an inch that we've got going on around here. So then let's flip it over. Yes, this means the ribbons are going to kind of get in our way. You can wait and put the cover on last. The front and the back. Make sure you've got them lined up. Okay, so we've got that on. Now let's go ahead and put this on. And we're just going to glue it right on. And this glue bottle's really full. So there's quite a bit of glue coming out. Plus, when you smush it down and smooth it, it spreads this glue out. You can put glue all over the whole thing if you like. Sometimes I do, like if it's a book cover or something. I want to make sure the center lays completely flat. This won't be a problem with this. Okay. And just stuck my finger right in the glue. And we'll just glue it right on here. Make sure you have the same amount open at the top and the bottom, which okay, so that's going to be our cover. All right, so let's go on to page 2. Page 2 isn't going to be hard, and I think, let me think about this for a second. Which one's going to be easier to put lace along this edge? Either one. Excuse me for just a second. Because I'm trying to think with what we're going to put on. I made 2 envelopes with my envelope punch board. And then I inked them up. And to ink this inside part, you do have to go ahead and fold it. And yes, it's too bad that we won't see that side. We're going to see this side. I accidentally printed them on white paper and got them all done instead of the cream colored paper, but they're going to be shut until someone opens them. I'm wondering if we should at least put a rose stamp on here in the brown. All right, let's figure out. Looks like I didn't finish inking this. You don't have to ink. You only have to ink the top one. Oh, and that must be why I only inked that one. That one's going to be the top. So if we're going to put a stamp, let's put our butterfly on before we forget. Now, if this didn't have that little bit of a white edge on one side, I'm still going to, actually I was going to say I'm not going to ink it because it's black, but I'm still going to put that little bit of a brown around because it puts a little bit of that brown edge onto the butterfly itself, which makes it look a little vintagey, a little bit older. And I probably should have cut this by hand. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut this part right here. This a little bit too. I thought the ink would cover it, but it's too white. It's very annoying. My scan and cut wouldn't calibrate because it wasn't detecting the white. It tells you to put a white piece of paper on there, but then it wouldn't detect the white piece of paper. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try a cream colored piece of paper and see if that works. If it makes enough of a contrast. It's so weird. It's very easy to calibrate. I didn't realize until I watched a video online on how to calibrate it. So now I'm gonna, when we get done, I'm gonna pull the wings up on it so the wings kind of stand up a little more 3D. I'm gonna do that right now because we're gonna be opening the page. It's just gonna get smushed for right now. We're gonna be laying it out flat a lot. But I am gonna glue it just in the center. And then when we get done, I will lift up the wings and make it look more 3D than it does now. Okay. So now let's go back to this. So this one is would actually have lace up this side, which would be easy. So this will be page 2. So I have the number wrong. That will be 3. Doesn't really matter. So we're just going to put a belly band on here. Rolling up my sleeves. This is the paper. This is our belly band. It matches this. I probably should have printed this on cream colored paper as well. Well, we're going to cover most of it up. I'm going to put cream colored paper in my printer so that well, all the rest is printed on white paper. This just looks different because the print on it is cream colored. Okay, so let's decide how wide we want our belly band to be. Yes, it's printed on the back. You know what, though? Just printed out a new one, because we're going to need duplicates. So let's use the one that doesn't have anything on the back. I'm turning it over so I can see better what I'm going to do. And I think I'm going to put it right over here. Not too far over because I want to put the lace on. Well, my voice is awful quavery this morning. So let's make the band come over to here. Let's measure that and see how big it is and then cut it. Comes out to a little bit more than 2.5. And the envelopes are 3 by 3. So let's go ahead and make it 2.5. That will give us this as a scrap. So we can still make a page out of that. And I think I'll cut it to a page. Or a paper, because it's not printed on the back, so we can't use it as a card. We can only use it as something that we glue onto the page. Paper. Yeah, that will look good there. That will give us enough room to put the lace on. Every other page has got lace on the opposite side. We're going to try to do it that way anyway. There may be a couple of pages that don't have lace. So let's ink this. I've been watching Vampire Diaries, which is a TV series that's 8 seasons. It's on Peacock right now. And there's 22 episodes per season. So that's about 170 episodes. And I'm on my second time through watching it. I really like it. It may not be everybody's cup of tea. But am really enjoying the series, and so I'm on that part way through of that again. Well, actually, I'm on season 8 again. But it's been a few days since I worked on this. I haven't really been feeling well, which is, it's fine. I'm disabled. It comes and goes. So I've been watching that. And it's on my brain. I just pointed to my head like you could see me. Yeah, so let's glue that on. Do I want to glue it on now? Yeah. So we're just going to glue the top and the bottom because it's a belly band. Let's line it up. This line. I didn't do that very well. Had a line to go by and still got it way off. There we go. Okay, now we're going to take the 2 envelopes. All right, this one's going to be the part that opens, and it's going to go this way. The other one is going to open this way. So let's go ahead and stamp. I got a smaller rose this time with more detail, so hopefully it will ink up better. And also, this one isn't really directional, and it's got a lot of ridges on it, a lot more than the other one does. There we go. There's a nice one. It's just an easier stamp to stamp. The other one, this wider part, goes to the right. Probably should have put it to the left. There's another good one. So we'll keep this as the stamp that we use. Okay. Now we could have them both open the same way, because we're going to put a card in here. But I kind of thought it would be more fun to have one open one way and one open the other way. Yeah, I think I'm going to stay with that. So let's go ahead and glue them up. Oh, this one's going to go this way. That way our little Victorian Beauty will be the right side up. So we're just going to glue this part. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to use a little Velcro dot as the closure, or if I'm going to use, you know, glue and re-glue, or stick and re-stick, or whatever you want to call it. Or there's this stuff, which some people use It's by Zig, Z-I-G. And it comes in a like a big fat Sharpie marker type deal. And you can use it to re-stick your Scan and Cut mat. But if you let it dry, it sticks and re-sticks. If you stick it down while it's wet, then it will permanently glue it shut. Excuse me again. Okay. So I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. So I'll do it off camera. If I do, see really if I do a Velcro dot, you know, I could cut one in half. This one's far enough down that the Velcro dot, I think, wouldn't cover the part of the picture. No. They're not anything super duper heavy. So I think I could take half of a dot and use it. So we'll put this one this way, and put this one this way. If they were going to be far enough apart, you could glue this one on as a little pocket. Okay? That makes her dress upside down though, doesn't it? It does make the lace on the fold over, on the, you know, the part that opens. Let's use our bone folder on it. That'll make it flatter. If you have, or if you're a member of the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, you'll get a PDF step-by-step on how to do this. I don't think there's going to be anything in here that you may have not done before. We're just going to make them pretty and put them in the book. Because it's just the size of maybe half of a signature. Okay, so we just want to make 2 lines down the center with the glue. You know, we could put a little circle there, but if we do, it'll cover up our lady. So I think I'm going to do half of a Velcro dot. Okay. Look at how pretty that would have been that way. You know, we could have glued them on that way. And then had them open out. Why didn't I think of that? And this makes the text right side up. Next time, think about that. You could do it that way. So now you want to get it straight, and you want to line it up with the one above. Okay. Okay. So let's take a Velcro dot. This one's clear on one side and white on the other. We're going to cut it in half. I'm putting the white side on the inside. And just close it. And that will hold it closed. Perfect. White side on the inside. Let me get this lined up. And then I'll make little cards and the big card. Man, my throat is really bothering me. So let's go ahead and put the lace on this side. I coffee dyed this. I just made a cup of coffee and stuck it down in there. Not the one I normally drink out of course. I'm going to try to get the line on this ribbon to line up right along down that line. And by the line, I mean this little bit extra. The part before the actual lacy part starts. It looks like I need to take just a smidgen off the bottom of the top. Okay. Then we'll glue this in. So so you can see why we're going to try to put lace on the edge of each one. I don't know why this is a little long. But since we've already glued our first page on, could be I trimmed it a little short when I was trimming the white edges off from around. Make sure your lace lines up. You know what I mean? This way. So that the lengths are the same. And then, like I said, I'll make the card. The card will have to come in and out on this side, because this will be towards the center. Then we'll have our writing page, which we will stamp with our rose. Maybe I'll do all 4 corners. I'm not sure, but we'll do it before we sew it in, of course. So now we're going to do the next page. And on here, I'm not sure that there's anything that I would do with triple thick. I have some small butterflies. I could do that. Okay, I'm going to have to trim them and then glue them on. Trim them, ink them, glue them on. So I'll do that off camera. Okay, so the next page we're going to do should be easier. There's our paper. So you may have figured out we're going to cover up most of it. And what we're going to do is something that's simple but works out really well. Now I want to make a card that opens, and we're going to glue it on as a pocket, facing out this way. And then the card will open up, and we'll have coffee dye paper that folds out to give us a much bigger writing area. So let's decide how big we want our card to be. In case you're wondering why everything's labeled, it's because I go through ahead of time and decide what we're going to do. Oh, nice. That butterfly would be on the front. Okay, so let's see. We're going to want the lace. We want to be able to put the card in and out. We want it to be shorter, obviously, than the page. And we want the butterfly. We want everything. We want it all. So we're going to make the card that opens up. We're going to fold it right here. And then we'll trim it. perfect. Okay, we're going to want to let's bring it down just a little bit. Going to want to, so we'll definitely be able to use triple thick on this. I'm going to trim it there. And then we're going to trim it there. Now that I think about it, though, I wanted it to fold out and then down, but we're not going to be able to do that. We're only going to be able to fold it out. And you'll probably realize why when you look at it, because it's too big. This is bigger than double the length of a piece of paper. So we want the paper to be, but it's bigger than, okay, we're going to do it this way. And we want to fold it in half here. Ink it. And that will help us see what we're doing as well as we wanted to ink it. If we had made it smaller and made it less than half the width of a piece of paper, in other words, half this way and half this way, then we could have folded it over and then folded it down. But we're not going to be able to now. This is going to be cover that way. I sat for a minute thinking about this before we started, and then I wanted it to be bigger, so the trade-off is that it won't open double. Once again, we could have put two smaller ones. Now, let's cut this to size. I already marked, I thought I'd already marked where we were gonna fold it, but it's easier to just mark where we're gonna trim it. Now you can actually sew that in if you want. If you have a sewing machine and you're a sewing person. Okay, we'll fold this in half. Then we'll make sure it fits. Looks like it's a smidge too wide. Okay, and then we're just going to glue the back page on. I think I'm going to ink it. Not heavily. That side we don't need to ink. It gives it a vintage feel. You won't really be able to write on this side. It'll be more decorative. You can do something different. I had just already printed on that side. I've had good experience with Fabri-Tac on typing paper. With it not wrinkling. I should have stamped it first, but this is coffee dyed paper, so it's not going to make that much of a difference. So then I'll go in and stamp it probably here on all 3 pages. If I have a rose stencil, I may just stencil them in the middle. Then we're going to glue this. Oh, that's why, because we're going to glue it onto the page. So if we're going to stamp it, we better stamp it now. We'll only have to do this 3 times. Neighbors tromping up and down the stairs. So we are going to need another writing card for this page. Now, even though I just said it's not directional, I am going to try to, well, this one's lower than the other one. I'm going to try to make this part face this way on this one, which I did, and that's fine. But I didn't really look at how high up I had it from the bottom. Okay, so you're going to have this whole writing space here, here, and here. We're going to have to figure out something. If I decide to put a magnet in here to hold it shut, then I'll just put a circle over it. Or a piece of ephemera over it like we did on the other page to cover it up. And that way it'll hold it shut. Now we're going to glue this on as a pocket. In fact, I think that's probably what I will do. A lot of people just leave them. This is a Teflon bone folder that you can get on Amazon. It's made by Craft Treat, and there's only one T in there, C-R-A-F-T-R-E-A-T. And I like it because it has this pointed squared end on one end and the rounded tapered end on the other. And it's Teflon, so the stuff doesn't stick to it. Okay, so let's just glue the 3 sides. So then I will need to make a couple of writing cards. And put the triple thick on the cover of this. Let's move this all the way over. Then we'll put our lace on. I get this lace white in a big batch of, I think 10 different laces, maybe more, in a package. And I get those on Amazon too. I just dye it. So I buy the white so I can dye it any color I want. You can use alcohol ink, coffee, tea. I use re-inkers, the bottles of the liquid re-inkers for these, which I'm going to have to use if I keep leaving it open. And put them in alcohol. That way the liquid evaporates and all you have left is the ink. You can use, you can spray acrylic paint mixed with alcohol on there, and metallic, and it will make it shimmery. Everybody go, ooh, shimmery. I'm going to wait to glue this one in until I do the triple thick on it, so I can set it to the side to dry. And just like the other one, we're going to have to, this lace stretches a little bit, that's why I'm holding it. Otherwise, once you cut it, it will end up a little bit short. Because you pull it out, you know what I mean when you measure it. So we've got our pocket here. And we've got our writing spaces. Then we'll have a decoration here. We could put another butterfly on here. Put the triple thick on here and on these flowers. Comes in a jar. This is stick and seal or whatever that's called, and then your lid doesn't get stuck shut like it did the first time I tried to do this, and I tipped it again and got it on the inside, but that's alright because you don't have to open it up all the way. It's just a plain paintbrush, just an acrylic paintbrush, and then you just paint it on. Try not to overwork it. In other words, you don't have to go over it and over and over it. Just put some more down to reach the edge. And it's good to kind of hold it so you can see in the light and make sure that you've gotten it as far as you want it to go. And that's all there is to doing this. Just paint it right on. Since it doesn't add dimension, it only adds shine. Then I'm not really sure why they call it triple thick. Except it is a thick glaze. You think I might overwork it just out of habit of wanting with a paintbrush to spread it all the way instead of putting more on. Okay, that's our hour. So I'll finish up this wing before it dries. It dries kind of quick, so you have to be fairly quick about doing it. Okay. Goodness. All right, so that's that. Then you let it dry. Doesn't take very long to dry at all. Rinse this out in warm water, and then you're good to go. Now I'm going to go ahead and do these flowers. And then probably this flower up here to balance it out. So I'm not going to do anything with that brush right now. And that's going to be it for this video. And I'll see you in the next video. And that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.